Greetings, birds, turds, and nerds. Life with Matthew is ending his virtual pub right now, so I'm going to just wait for hopefully at least a few people to jump on over. Let me pull up a second screen of YouTube so I can actually read the chats. Man, that was some crazy ranting everyone was saying in Life of Matthew's stream. All right, let's see who is first. If you're watching a rewatch of this, it's always the quiet part is the first minute of the stream. While I'm waiting for anyone to post something in the chats. No one yet. No one on here yet. All right, you know what? I am gonna play a game. Unless someone comes up here shortly. Am I getting a connection issue now? All right, unless someone comes up here in the next minute, I'm gonna play some Kerbal Space Program. So if you are rewatching this, you might want to skip ahead 1 minute. Oh, and Captain Trek is here. Greens, Captain Trek. I was wondering, is anyone gonna show up? Would you up on the stream? I will paste the link in the chat. To game. Haven't decided what though. Either some Kerbal, Zombie Army. Risk is only fun if you've got 4 or 5 players. I could play Metal Gear. Oh, and Captain Trek made it on. Hello.
Hello, what's going on?
Not much. I don't know why. I just felt like streaming. Just got off work. Life with Matt was crazy again.
Oh yeah.
Whenever he has Anti-Tracker on there, it just lately I've been feeling Anti-Tracker's fun to watch on his own streams, but lately when he's on as a guest, I feel like he not only does he take over the stream, but he disagrees with everyone. Oh, and speak of the devil himself. Somebody say Risk. Isn't your past your bedtime, AT? You can come up here too if you want. I pasted the link, just a few chats, the chat right before yours. And yeah, You know what? I'll talk to you.
I don't know if the old man can find it.
I'll talk to you in person if you want. I won't be that person. I'll say something about you and won't allow you to talk back. As for Risk, I would say it's only really fun if you have 4, maybe 5 players. Oh, you could do a 3-way, 3 battle, but then it's always 2 picking on 1. I like the battles that are more drawn out, and it's like everyone kind of keeps betraying each other. Like, oh, I'll like with you for like 1 turn. Oh, but now you're the threat, so I gotta attack you. And just well, how many days ago was that? Was it yesterday? I was playing a game with it was like Bird and I don't know if LDG. There was 5 of us, and for a while I had no idea who was gonna win. It was all just like luck of the cards almost. Ah, and there he is.
There, about time.
You are. I see how you are.
What?
Oh, an anti-tracker's on somebody's stream.
Yeah. I'll say it to you in person. I do love your live streams. I love the videos you've been doing with the Hulk and everything else, and you've been doing a good job. But it just seems like lately, when you get on a live stream, LGG does it too. So I'm not just picking on you, but it seems like you just yell and you disagree with everything that anyone says.
Well, here's the problem that I run into. And this is actually, it's funny because I've had a couple of friends of mine that have had larger channels than mine that warned me of this, is that if you are like, obviously I consider myself a smaller channel, but compared to like a lot of the people I hang out with, my channel is, a couple of steps up. And so if you're the biggest fish in the room, then everybody's going to always say things that contradict what they know you believe. So that's why, for example, when Rock Solid comes onto the stream, he's going to immediately, he puts in that his username is the Connie sucks because he knows I love the Connie, right? He's going to.
You're picking on each other. I get that part. You're picking on each other.
But that's just how it goes. Now, I wasn't disagreeing with everything that was being said. I mean, like, for example, in all things nautical, I would always defer to Darren Wagner because he's a true expert on that, and I'm not. But it feels that way sometimes because people want to pick a fight with me because of the fact that I'm the big fish in the room.
Now, going with what you said, have you ever seen this phenomenon happen on one of the other channels that are bigger than you? So let's say a channel.
It depends on the channel because it depends on what they do. Because here's what you don't see a lot of, and I'm not going to try to pick on any of these people in particular, but for example, you don't see Doomcock showing up on a lot of streams for channels that are smaller than his. You see Doomcock show up on Nerdrotic's stream all the time, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. They're friends. I'm friends with both of them. I don't have a problem with that. But if they're, if Doomcock was to show up on streams of subscribers that were, or channels that were my size and smaller, then yeah, chances are you would see everybody picking a fight with Doomcock because, hey, if I can one-up Doomcock, that's something that's bragging rights worthy.
See, I don't even picture it like that. If I agree with what Doomcock is saying, I'd agree with him. If I disagree, I would disagree. I don't disagree just to one up on someone.
True, but that's not the nature of the internet, and you're just not that kind of person. But like I wasn't, and I know it feels like it sometimes, but I'm not, and I'm not just a contrarian. There are some times when there are some things that I believe in strongly, and I'm going to fight about to my dying breath. Like I think that TOS is the best of Trek. I've always said that. And so if somebody comes on and says, well, TNG was better, well, you know me, I'm going to fight that. Right?
Yeah, I get how you have some people who are aggressive with their stance, So, like, let's say, like, Rock Solid, for example, was very aggressive tonight. He came out arms blowing from the get go. Where if I would come on, I would be like, hey,
You broke
hey,
up.
look,
I lost you.
Sorry, TNG. It's might not be the best, but it doesn't outright suck. It
Right,
had some things that some problems, but it has some good too.
And that's where we could meet a middle ground where I would say, well, I don't think that all of TNG sucks. Now, I think the first season sucked for sure. And most people would at least acknowledge that the first season was the weakest of TNG. Regardless, even if you thought it was better than, say, anything, like I know Rock Solid, for whatever reason, he thinks that everything that has to do with TOS is horrible, which I really don't understand that about him, but that's his opinion and he's welcome to it. But most people, even people that I know who are diehard TNG fans, will acknowledge that the first season of TNG was a little rough around the edges. It was really around season 3 that the characters started to find themselves, and really wasn't until the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4, which was, of course, Best of Both Worlds, was a hallmark moment for the series. And that's when it really branched out and stopped trying to be a clone of TOS and became its own thing. And I think that was a big problem with early TNG, is they were trying to replicate TOS and they just couldn't do it. And they couldn't figure out what's the problem. We're duplicating everything, but you don't have the same characters, you don't have the same actors, it's not the same show. And so
I think TNG had the roughest starting because it was the first reboot, not reboot, but continuation. They all thought it was going to fail. All the actors thought, oh, it's only going to be one season.
And the funny thing is that TNG are, and even though me, I'm a diehard TOS fan. I absolutely love the original series, and I will probably say that till my dying breath. But Patrick Stewart is absolutely the finest actor who has ever been in Star Trek. And I don't have a problem saying that at all. Because I don't think that show is the best, I think Patrick Stewart is a wonderful actor. And I think that once he found himself as Picard, and maybe it's because he didn't take it seriously in the first couple of seasons.
Real quick, my internet keeps cutting out, so I'm going to actually run my LAN cord, but you just keep going for a minute, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, how are you doing, Captain Trek?
I am doing all right. How about yourself?
Well, hanging in there.
If you were going to diss me as soon as I'm gone, I heard that.
No,
we're not dissing you at all. We love you, man. We're not saying anything bad about you. Is he gone yet?
By the way, have you heard about DJ?
No. Okay. So, do you know why he was so pissed off? That was like, he came on for a second and he was really angry, and then he left, and I was like, I don't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, I do. There was a woman he was interested in, and someone he considered a friend, who he feels stabbed him back. I'll just put it that way. So, yeah.
That's rough.
Yes, it is.
And I can understand, nothing makes you hurt more than betrayal over a woman, if you're a man.
Yeah.
So I can feel that. I'm sorry, man, that he's going through it, but I kind of am glad, I gotta say, that the internet didn't exist when I was young.
Oh God, yes.
Oh man, I think about some of the stupid shenanigans from when I was in high school, and just thinking about the way the world is today. Yeah, I'm just glad that I wasn't dealing with any of that and had the access to the World Wide Web and broadcasting it to the world. That would
have been a nightmare back.
I'm working on my first ship that is completely not Star Trek related.
Cool.
And so, Let me see if I can get. I think I've sobered up enough to be able to do this. Let me go that up and go to game screen. There we go. All right, so I can turn camera on. So this is the ship. So I know it's like not quite centered on there, but trying to move it over so you can see it a little bit. There you go.
Ah, what is the use for it?
Well, it's basically, and notice that, I don't know if you can see, but on the front of the ship, that's a person there to give you a sense of scale.
Right.
So the ship is 100 meters long. It's about it's a little bit larger than the Sturgeon class submarine, which is the type of sub that Darren actually served on. Wow, Wesley, you're in the stream twice.
Yep.
Remove me.
I can't remove you.
There it goes. What ship is this? What are you showing us?
Oh, this is something I'm working on. It's still very early, but this is I don't have a name for it yet. It's kind of funny because your stream is like, what should I call this stream? I don't know what I should call this ship yet. But it's basically a 100-meter long ship. It's supposed to be Earth Space Force circa 2068. And the idea of this universe that I'm working on is the only real, because, with sci-fi, you got to ask sci-fi is always about what if, right? What's the, and so the speculation in this sci-fi is, what if we develop artificial gravity? What are the implications of that? And so this ship, you notice that the back is lined with this kind of weird shape thing here. And the front, same thing with that.
It's got like strut lines or something that go from the front to the...
Right. Those are gravity generators. What you see on the top and bottom there is a fusion reactor. And then this is, which of course is already possible today. It's just that you need H3 in order to really keep a sustained fusion reaction. I don't know if you know this, but there's actually several operable fusion reactors in the United States. It's just they can't operate them for more than a very short period. And it's because they have to use H2, which is common on Earth. We just call it helium. And H2, when you use it in a fusion reaction, releases particles that destroy the shielding around the reactor very quickly. H3, which is what's abundant on the moon, but very rare. Well, it's actually pretty much impossible to get on Earth. And it's because the atmosphere deflects H3 from ever hitting the Earth. But the moon, lunar dust is saturated with it. And H3, if you put that in a fusion reactor, it actually doesn't generate the particles that destroy the shielding of a reactor. So you can create a sustained fusion reactor that way.
Real quick, I want to greet DJ Odyssey, the odd one, and I see Matt in the chat too.
Oh, very cool. Welcome, guys. Anyway, so this is obviously in 2068. We have a regular supply of H3. That's not a problem. And then for what somehow we discovered some way to generate artificial gravity. And so what would that do? Well, if you could create artificial gravity, you could propel ships using it. And that's what these do. And then the rigging on this, that looks like old school submarine rigging is basically the earliest version of what you would call deflector shield. So what they do is they're rigged into the reactor and they release a anti-gravity pulse to deflect incoming projectiles. So that's the idea anyway. Those, if we zoom in here, those are basically just hatches for nuclear ordnance. And so those are basically missile silos.
We and don't see as much as you think. Can I make you? How do I make you big?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. I'm looking at the two screens at the same time.
There we go.
Yeah. So what looks like that big cannon forward facing, that's a rail gun, and when of course that's why the long tubing. It uses the gravity, the same type of theoretical artificial gravity. It uses that to accelerate the rails forward. That's its primary weapon. It has nuclear missiles for a secondary weapon. And then it has these gravity generators for defense as well as propulsion. And so this is early concept stuff, but it's part of a story treatment that I did many, many years ago called Battle for Sol, S-O-L, meaning the solar system.
Yeah. Well, sometimes our sun is abbreviated Sol.
Yeah.
So.
That's why I called it that. So, and then for these are just basically point defense cannons for taking out incoming missiles.
Is that a separate model that you attached onto that ship?
Now, the reason it looks darker is because there's more geometry there. If we zoom in on it,
it looked like you modeled that separate and then attached it. Okay,
but you see, there's a parental hierarchy here. So, like that base plate that I just have highlighted right now, if I turn the base plate, it turns the gun.
Ah, okay, yeah.
It's for animation purposes, and then if I click away, and then so say we click on this, and now we can move the gun up and down. So it makes it so the gun basically will operate like a real world gun.
Yeah. You've been improving a lot on.
I've been working on it.
I keep telling myself to keep, doing tutorials and stuff, and I get home and I'm just.
You should. I mean, and it's all. This is just Blender. I mean, this is nothing special. And so let's see if we do an F12. This is rendering. It might take it a minute because I got a bunch of stuff running here. But this is to give you an idea of what that gravity generator engine looks like. You can see it's glowing. So when it actually renders it out, as opposed to just looking at it in the editor. Of course, now it's going to take forever.
Yeah, so, if you want something to render fast, you got to have a super strong computer.
Yeah, unfortunately,
very low res model.
Yeah, I would. I mean, honestly, if I had the computer I wanted, it would cost me probably about $20,000 or so. And half of that would just be in the graphics cards. So, people think that, oh, hey, I got the 2080 Ti and all that, and it's like that is nothing. You want to look at the Quadro FX cards, but those cards are like $5,000 a pop. But this render would already be done if I had a Quadro card.
Josh, is Anti-Trekker making a battleship Yamato New Earth ship?
No, but I'll take that as a compliment. I mean, the space battleship Yamato is an awesome looking ship, even if it is an incredibly impractical design. I mean, because if you actually took the American equivalent, like if you took an Iowa class battleship and then put space engines on it, it's not an airtight design. It wouldn't work in space, but it's cool looking. So and of course, that's what's ultimately more important.
Oh, hey, there goes a little bit.
Yeah. And actually, I have it rendering at a ridiculously high resolution. It shouldn't. That's half the problem right there. But yeah, I just wanted you can kind of see the glowing effect in there. More or less the equivalent of warp plasma. But the idea is like if you could create artificial gravity, what would that imply as far as technology? And if you think about for a ship in space, besides the fact that you'd be able to have people inside the ship walking around like it's pretty much normal, it would also mean that if you could generate gravitational fields, you could use that to propel the ship. And then you could also start looking at, well, when we talk about inertial dampeners in Star Trek, Well, if you had gravity panels in all the walls that would compensate for doing high-speed maneuvers, that would be your inertial dampeners. And then on top of that, well, gravity itself would be a very effective defense against incoming projectiles. And if you had enough power behind the ship, you could even deflect, energy-based weapons. But granted, you would need a whole lot of power for that.
So Pixels is asking what you're rendering. He must have missed you describing it.
Yeah. Basically, LD just rendering this. This is the non-rendered version.
Hey, Life with Matthew, check your Twitter, please. I'd send it on here, but I don't have a wrench.
Matthew, what are you even doing here? Since you were all complaining about how you needed to end the stream because, oh my God, it's going so late. I gotta end it.
He hasn't posted chat for like 10 minutes, so
yeah, maybe he's gone. There, this is the low res render.
He always says he pops in and then hits like and
yeah.
Oh,
so this gives you a better idea of it. So that gives you, this is a kind of a draft render. It gives you an idea, but this is almost real time. You can see if I move it around, it renders pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. It looks neat.
Definitely. I like that.
So
are you writing your own, sci-fi universe?
Basically, I want to ultimately. Like, if I could have it my way, I would be, it's one of those things. If I won a $200 million lottery, I'd probably pump $50 million into producing something like this. But yeah, the idea is that this was a near future storyline. In Battle for Soul, when I wrote the original story treatment, the idea was that in the very beginning it was called and Josh says, what, 5,500 for a Quadro RTX 8000. I don't know how good that is. I had, back when I had the best computer I ever had relative to where technology was at the time, I had a workstation that had 2 Quadro FX 1400 cards in it. And oh man, it was a beast for its day. But by today's standards, it would be nothing, but it was a great machine for its day. But anyway, the idea of Battle for Soul was that I had the story treatment was, the first part was called The Fall and Rise of Man. And it was, the story began with basically World War III. And it starts on the moon, and that there's a battle ensuing between 2 opposing forces on the moon. And then one of the soldiers, the main character of the story, looks up at the Earth in the sky and sees the ultimate horror, nukes going off all over the planet. And at that point, the 2 opposing armies basically drop their weapons and realize that they're fighting over nothing. And so at that point, it becomes how do we survive without the resources of Earth? And that's kind of the launching point for it. And then it covers, I kind of built it. Have you ever read Asimov's Foundation series?
I have not.
No.
They're great. If you ever want to read great science fiction, read Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. They are, in my opinion, the best sci-fi written, period. And but they take place over the course of thousands of years. And that's kind of where I was thinking of as I kind of modeled it after Asimov's idea, is that Battle for Soul, the first part of it, the first chapter, was basically the destruction of Earth. And then these people basically decided to pool their resources and try to survive. And they went in 3 different directions and parted ways basically amicably. And then fast forward 1,000 years or so, and what's happened with these 3 different societies, and how have they evolved, and then what happens when they actually make contact with each other again. And that's kind of where it picks up. And obviously things are not particularly pleasant. One group stays on the moon. The second group goes to try and terraform Mars. Third group ends up on Ceres. I don't know if you know about Ceres or not, but it's a dwarf planet in the asteroid belt. And actually a major part of the reason that Pluto was no longer considered a planet.
Yeah, I know at one point it was called a moon of Pluto, but yeah.
No, you're talking. Pluto is technically like a binary planetoid system.
Yeah.
There's two, but Ceres is actually in the asteroid belt. It's the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt, but it's a dwarf planet. So it's like if you call Pluto a planet, then people would make the argument that you have to call Ceres a planet. And if Ceres is a planet, then, well, isn't that embarrassing? There's been a 10th planet sitting there in between Mars and Jupiter all this time, and we never called it a planet.
I'm looking up now. It's 939 kilometers wide.
Sounds about right. But you notice, like, if you see any pictures of it, it's the reason that Ceres was never designated a planet is because part of the definition of a planet is that it clears its orbital path of any debris. Right. And Ceres exists within the asteroid belt, so clearly it has not cleared its orbital path.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So all the part of the ship that's white in this image right here is stuff that I've created after the beginning of Matthew's stream, because I was actually the rough version. If I make, let's see, I don't know if I can make it visible in this view. But let me go.
Yeah, so Ceres is about the size of Texas. That's just across, like that's just its diameter, not
right. But it's spherical, which is part of the other definitions of a planet. Is like if you look at asteroids, by definition, are generally not spherical in shape. They have generally pretty irregular shapes, and with Ceres, it is spherical, similar to any other planet. And that's, they have the qualification of a dwarf planet, and so then they realize, well, if Ceres is a dwarf planet, kind of you have to call Pluto a dwarf planet.
All right, keep that number in mind. If Ceres is 939, let me look up Pluto.
Were you looking up Pluto?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the diameter is. That diameter or radius?
Not telling me. I'd have to look it up. More deep.
Weird. There it is. Okay.
With a few modifications, you could also make that into a face pistol. Have the crew of the ship carrying one of a pistol that looks like the ship itself.
Okay, Pluto's radius is 738 miles. Now let me go back to Ceres. And
you said 9 something.
Well, that was in meter. That was in meters or
kilometers
or kilometers.
Get it in the same measurement, dang it.
That would help me. That would be helpful.
Or just get Yosef on the string.
That sounds like they're very close, though.
I'm sure I could figure it out if I actually spent a minute and looked it up and wrote it down. And
here you go. This is what the ship looked like before Life with Matthew stream. I've been working on streamlining it a bit.
Is this correct? Yes, Pluto's diameter is 2,376 kilometers. So that's
something ain't adding up. I don't know, but
no.
Maybe I'm looking stuff up wrong. I don't know.
All right, let me see. Let's see.
Ceres diameter in kilometers. Yeah, 946. So Pluto is a good 2.5 times larger than Ceres, but
yeah, let's see.
It's still not a small object.
Right.
Well, no.
Yeah, 939 versus 2377. And so, yeah, in the story world that I was coming up with is that Ceres is where anti-gravity technology was discovered, because there's an unknown element that they found when mining the planet that allowed for, if you ran an electrical charge through it, created a gravitational field.
Hold on, let me make this full screen. And then I'll put my screen up so everyone can see. So if Ceres is around this area of Texas, Pluto would be from like middle of Mexico all the way up to.
But notice they're both smaller than the moon.
Yeah, the moon's much bigger.
Yeah.
Or it's like kind of like, here are the 3 Death Stars. All right. Pull down my screen.
You don't have to make my screen big. I don't have the ego that big.
You got the cool ship, though.
I don't know if it's cool or not, but it's a work in progress.
No. I don't know if Darren would like it, but it kind of looks like a sub.
Well, actually, yeah, I've been...
It's a sub in space.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah, sorry. Sinuses are still driving me crazy. That's actually where I started, was to base the rough outline of the shape off of a sub much like the T'Prang. And in fact, that's why, oh man.
Here comes another one.
Sorry. But like the T'Prang is like, I think he said 300 and I'm trying to remember, but the difference in size between this and the T'Prang is fairly small. This ship would be probably about 25 feet or so longer than the T'Prang, the sub that Darren served on. And so I wanted it to be similar in size to a contemporary submarine. And then you figure that everything on it is practical in design. So like everything forward of this fat area in the middle, this is in everything in the front 2/3 of the ship is weapons. So you have your missile silos, you have your rail guns. The only thing that's not weapons based is this gravity generator on the very front, which is just for maneuvering. Everything on the back is engines. And the idea of the design is that it's a stealth ship. Basically, this ship will sneak up on you. And remember, we were having that whole intense discussion about that during Matthew's stream. But if you look at it from dead front, notice you cannot see the engines at all except for the front. And when it's in stealth mode, or what Darren informed me is referred to as rigged for quiet, basically you're running stealth mode, those front engines would be powered down, which means that this thing would give off no positive signature at all. And that was part of the intentional design, is that if you look at it here from above, you put on a straight orthographic view from the top. So if I assume you can see my mouse pointer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you fired this engine and this engine, it would have the effect of a retro rocket, but not as strong as if you had the forward thrust on there. And so you could still maneuver in every direction just using the engines in the back. That's why it's angled inward here. But when you're rigged for quiet, you keep those engines hidden behind the hull so that these engines off, you have basically, in Star Trek terms, no warp signature.
You'd have to fire both of those left and right.
Yeah, to slow down, you would fire both sides.
Otherwise, it would start to drift in one direction or the other.
No, and what you could do, like the idea is that if you're running in, I don't know what you call it, but like say you're in a combat, red alert, and you're actually in active combat, stealth is no longer an option, then you would have this front section active as well. So to maneuver, like if you were going to go hard to port, you would have on the front of the ship, you would have the engines firing out, and in the back of the ship, you would have the opposite engines, and that would turn it very quickly.
What I would like to see a sci-fi show or book or whatever do is actually use orbital mechanics. Not all the spaceships flying around like they're fighters in the air or underwater.
Have you not watched The Expanse?
Captain Trek, have we watched The Expanse yet?
Well, Cinnabon and I and a couple others have watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I tried to get through. I tried to watch it. And I got through like maybe 2 episodes. I couldn't watch any more of that show. It was just that horrible.
I understand it's difficult. Once you get past the first season, man, I tell you, I promise you, my friend, as someone who has watched some shows that were real stinkers, this show picks up like you would not believe after the first season. And
my problem is there's not a single character I like. So it's not just like, oh, this character is annoying and that character is annoying. It's like all of them.
Again, that's actually part of the ingeniousness of the show. It's difficult, but it's actually really brilliant as well. Most shows, they try to introduce characters like, this is a hero character, this is a villain character, right? And what you don't realize is that almost every character you meet at their worst. And so, and they do that intentionally so that every time you think, oh, this is the villain of the show, you turn out that, no, that's not. Like, okay, to give you a great example, Christian, the lady with the very deep voice, the Indian lady.
Yeah, she's like the worst.
Exactly. You think she is the biggest evil person from hell, right? She's torturing that poor Belter. She is ruthless. She is cruel. You absolutely hate her. By the end of season 3, you love her.
Well, no, I wasn't referring to what her actions were. I meant her voice.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I know. It takes some getting, but it's funny.
She sounds like that henchman from the Adventure Brothers.
Well, you put up with her in Star Trek Beyond.
What?
Yes, she's the frickin' admiral in Star Trek Beyond.
Well, I've seen that movie like once, so.
But here's the thing but I'm just talking about her character. When you first meet her, she is an absolutely horrible person. You're seeing her at her worst. By the end of the third season, you love her and you respect her and you understand why she does what she does. And another great character from is Amos.
And hi, Yosef.
Hey, Yosef, good to see you, my friend. Amos, who is a absolute sociopath, and you're thinking, my God, this man is just a brutal killer, and he has no feelings whatsoever. And then as you get to know him, you realize he really does. But he has a background where you kind of start to understand why he is the way he is. And a lot of the characters are like that on this show. You meet them at their rock bottom. You're not meeting anybody like you don't meet anybody like you meet Captain Kirk or Captain Picard. You're not meeting them on their best day. Not a single character on the entire show. And it's a surprisingly good show as you get into it. It's just the problem is that the first season is 100% build up, and it's really all about the event that happens at the end of the first season and getting to know some of these characters. And then in the second season, it starts to pick up the repercussions of the big event from the first season. And what's really going on and who are the people really behind this stuff. And then in season 3, it goes off the rails crazy and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what? Really? That's where we're going with this? And then in season 4, holy crap, all of a sudden we're in a place you never would have imagined from the beginning of season 1. I mean, you go from where you're at in season 1 to Galactic Empire in season 4.
Oh, okay.
I know it sounds crazy.
You're not the only one that's, said like, oh, you gotta watch it, and I've tried, I think 2 times, and it just.
Imagine for a moment. Let me tell you this: from between season 1 and season 4, you end up with a mode of transportation more efficient than hyperdrive. In fact, thousands of times more efficient. Okay, millions of times even.
What is it capable of doing?
It's capable of taking you anywhere in the universe almost instantaneously. In a way that you never would have imagined.
Okay.
And it's the best way to describe it is imagine if you've watched the Stargate shows, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine if you had the Stargate network, except that every Stargate went to the same location.
Like a central hub, or
yeah. But that central hub location wasn't a room or a building; it was a region of space.
And then once you jump from, let's say,
you're in your spaceship, you go through your Stargate into this region, and then you can, from inside this region, see the exit portals of every Stargate simultaneously, and you pick one and go through it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like I said, doesn't seem like you could get there from where you start the series with, right?
Yeah, because I mean, like, and like the first, second episode, like that crew on that ship is like, we're gonna die unless we fix this now.
Right. And the thing is, the technology doesn't improve any for the humans, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not like you don't have ET, you don't have Vulcans or anything like that. But technology for mankind does not improve throughout the series.
Joseph, it wasn't that I was bored with The Expanse. It was.
I can't see the chat. What's he saying?
I'll make it big and see if you can see it there.
Okay.
I was bored to death with The Expanse, same as Wes. It's not that I was bored with it; it's the type of writing it is, where, as AT was describing, it's everyone at their worst. So everyone seems like an evil asshole.
Right. And it's the opposite of the way that most shows would introduce a character, and something that it took me for, it's really a stroke of genius. I got to give the authors credit, because by introducing these characters at their absolute worst, you start to appreciate them on a much deeper level than if you were just told, okay, this is the hero.
I must be a different mentality, because its writing turned me off twice, and the only reason I'm even interested is because so many people are telling me it's a good show.
Right.
Where
Is Captain Trek snoring?
No, I'm not. I'm awake, fully awake. And
I thought I heard you snoring.
He's breathing intensely. I typically like not the opposite writing, but where it's like you have your main character and you see them dragged to the mud, and they're forced to do decisions they don't want to do.
Right. Well, and the centerpiece, as far as the moral center of the show, is Holden. And Holden is the guy that in the beginning, and just like, even though his character isn't quite as dark when you first meet him as the other characters, remember, he's the guy that basically didn't want to be promoted to first officer. He just wanted to just do his job and
right.
not have to deal with issues. He becomes basically the savior of humanity, if you can believe that.
I mean, I can believe anything. It's a sci-fi.
Well, I know, but you know what I'm saying is that he's not. While he is the moral center of the show. You just don't realize it when you first meet him, because when you first meet him, you just think he's a slacker, which is a perfectly natural reaction to him, because he kind of is.
Question: is that center line, the kind of brownish red, supposed to be reflective or glossy?
That's just because of this mode that I'm in right now. Like, if I switch modes, okay, it looks different.
Okay.
Like, if I just want to see surfaces, that's like that. What you're seeing is this is like just showing you roughly what the color is without having to render it with texture.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think if it's, I get that it's not an exciting show, especially at first, but if you can invest yourself into the characters, holy crap, does it go in some directions you were not expecting.
Like I said, I'll watch with you. Does that intimidate you?
So, Wes, you need to watch it.
Yeah, okay.
And I know you were talking about orbital mechanics and stuff. Let me tell you, The Expanse is the only sci-fi show I've ever seen to get there's only one thing as far as human technology that is a little bit of a sci-fi trope, and it's called the Epstein drive. And it's named after the person who invented it, which, a lot of inventions, of course, really are named after the person who invented it.
Mm-hmm. So
Epstein, and they actually do have a flashback episode where you see the discovery of the Epstein drive. All it means is it's not hyperdrive, it's warp drive. It's just faster than a typical rocket. And so instead of taking years to get from Earth to Mars, it takes weeks.
Okay, but that doesn't make any sense in real life. Because it's not about, how fast you can go. It's about where Earth is and where Mars is. So,
well, but velocity is involved in that. Like in rocket physics, if you look at, so Earth is at point A, Mars is at point B, you calculate a trajectory to get out there, but you're limited by how fast a rocket can actually, because you're very limited by the amount of fuel you can take on a rocket. And then how much acceleration can you get based on that fuel in order to get an orbital velocity that'll get you there. And then you also have to have enough fuel to slow you down once you get there, right?
Yes.
The Epstein drive basically solves those problems by allowing ships to go faster and to be more fuel efficient. However, one thing you'll appreciate, there is no artificial gravity. Doesn't exist. And so a ship is, and this is something that I love because it's something that I've thought about in the past, but they never ever deal with in a real show until this, is the way they make artificial gravity is a ship is constantly accelerating, right? And so as long as the ship is accelerating, you have artificial gravity. As long as the floor plan is that your feet are, if you look down through the floor, you would see the rocket, right? And as long as it's accelerating, you would have artificial gravity.
The ship would have to be constantly accelerating faster than it was each previous second.
That's what accelerating means.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that
as long as you were burning, you would have artificial gravity, right?
Yeah.
Then once you're more than halfway to your destination, you flip the ship end over end and you start decelerating, and that's your gravity for the second half of the trip. That's real world physics, and they do that in this show. Now, if you actually accelerate to a point where you don't need to continue to accelerate, then everybody puts on magnetic boots. So there is no such thing as artificial gravity. Ships flip end over end. They spend days at a time decelerating when they're trying to go somewhere. It's not it's not maneuvering on a dime. Mm-hmm. And I love the attention to detail with the physics on it. And they basically have 3 stages of combat between ships. Long range, where you're launching missiles at the other ships. Medium range, where you're launching rail guns at the other ships. Short range, where you have machine guns. And I got to tell you, it's one of those things, though, you don't see, you don't get to see a really heavy-duty battle until the second season. But you do see some cool ideas of what's going on. But I've never seen a show treat the real world physics the way that this show does. And Josh says, if Holden is the moral center, then the show has a problem with its moral center. I'm not sure what you mean, Josh. But the physics of the show are among the best I've ever seen in any sci-fi.
Mountains Elysium is saying they loved the first season of Expanse. The slingshot maneuver around the moons of Jupiter was not accurate. What was hours on the show, reality using the method Alex did would have taken weeks.
Actually, if you're talking about Mountains of Elysium, you're talking about the dude that was like the hot shot pilot that everybody was betting on. What I assume that's the character what you're talking about, and just tell me if that's what you're talking about, and then I'll say what I'm going to say about it. But I want to know if we're talking about the same thing. There's like a club of people that try to make this run in record time and that kind of thing. And it's part of a case that this one guy is trying to investigate. and he walks in on these people while they're taking bets on it. Is that what you're talking about, Mountains of Elysium? And we'll see if he ever gets the fun of the delay.
Oh yes, love it so much.
Dude, I remember when you were playing Kerbal for the first time. And
Mhm.
I was at work, so
And you're like, do this, and it's like, yeah, that was 30 seconds ago.
well, not only would I hear you say it, but then I'd have to pull out my phone from my pocket.
Yeah, I know.
So it was more like a minute, and all you get is like one little sentence.
Why are you being stupid now? Not you. I'm talking about my computer.
And like I wanted to help you, but
so still waiting for you, Mountains of Elysium. I know you've heard me by now. No, Alex Carroll, and he was trying to slingshot the Rossi around the moons of Jupiter. Oh, okay. I'd have to go back and rewatch that. That might have been part of the cheat of the Epstein drive, so I'm not 100% sure. I thought you were talking about the gang that was slingshotting around. I can't remember what some course that they were slingshotting, because, but I don't remember that one specifically.
Is the Epstein drive make the engines more fuel efficient, or get you a higher delta V like in a shorter amount of time?
They're basically they're like they basically make it so that you could, in theory, think about it this way. Right now, in order to accelerate a rocket, you have to have solid fuel, right? You have to have like liquid oxygen or
solid fuel. You usually only use in boosters,
right?
Because once you light them, they burn. They just keep burning.
Right.
A liquid fuel oxidizer, is more controllable.
Right. But an Epstein drive would allow you to have the thrust that you get from a rocket, but doing it through like a fusion reactor, doing it through electrical means. It doesn't require you to burn fuel like you burn fuel in a rocket today. It basically makes it so that you could fly around indefinitely for the most part. And so it makes it so that you don't have to have the ships carrying around booster rockets and stuff like that everywhere they go. And like I said, there's a flash. I don't know all the details of it. I haven't read the books. I'm sure it goes into detail in the books, but the Epstein drive basically is just a cheat so that they don't have to sit there and calculate everything to death in order to get from one place to another. Is that as long as you can point your ship in the right direction and you've got a decent navigator on board, you can get to where you want to get. But you also, they do have the other thing that they do is they have like various drugs that you take in order to compensate for the heavy G's that you take on a burn. And some people deal with it better than others.
Now Mountains of Elysium.
Okay, I do remember that vaguely now, where they were talking about how they couldn't use the Epstein drive because would have alerted the blockade. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know the orbital physics of it, but I think you're right. I think they did cheat in that. But blame the author. I still think that this, as far as if you want to, if you're going to ever say, well, this is not realistic, this is about as realistic as a sci-fi show gets.
Yeah. If you go too realistic, it just becomes boring.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, unless you want to spend, 16 episodes of them just sitting there with nothing to do while they're waiting to get to where they're going.
Well, a show wouldn't show that. It would be like it leaves the end of one episode. They complete the burn, In the next
Right.
episode, they get where they want it to go, but it's been like 8 months.
Right. But it was just, I mean, that's the Epstein drive is a cheat, and I know they make concessions every now and then just for story, and while it may not be ideal, it's the way it works. And I think that the fact that we could debate on whether or not how accurate it was is admirable, because the show itself does a really good job of it.
Well, that's actually good to hear.
Captain Trek, when do you
Yeah.
and Cinnabon plan to do a watch party again?
Part of it's based on when he gets time off work. But
Tell him to just quit his job.
Oh,
why don't you just quit your job and finish your whole review?
I'll do that as soon as I get that $1 million super chat.
Well, then same with Cinnabon.
Oh, come on. Cinnabon doesn't need money. He's rich. You didn't know that? He's getting all those residuals for his role in Star Trek Picard.
Where's all my money?
Agreed.
No one wants to give Wesley Crusher money.
Of course not. You're Wesley Crusher. That's like saying, hey, why doesn't anybody want to give Jar Jar Binks money?
Damn.
Well, come on. Wesley is the Jar Jar Binks of the Star Trek franchise. I mean,
I thought Neelix was.
No. Sorry, buddy. You picked the wrong name.
That's it. I'm changing my name to Neelix.
Well, then it will be Neelix.
Yes. And it'd be Shut Up Neelix.
Yeah. It'll become the next big thing.
All right.
LG's calling it a night. Wow. I know there's... That's
Mr.
weird.
TOS expert. Who is the most annoying character in TOS?
Riley.
I can't remember him.
I'll remember you, Kathleen. Riley.
Oh, God. Yes, Riley. I'll be home.
Yeah.
Didn't he die?
Yes, he did. No. I don't think he did, actually. He was, they tried to kill him in Conscience of the King. Kodos the Executioner poisoned him, but I don't remember I don't think he died. But I'd have to go back and rewatch Conscience of the King. I haven't watched that one in a while.
Oh, Pixels, I was going to have you up here next, but it says he's going to go to sleep. He's probably too tired from yelling at you.
Yeah.
He probably could sleep on stream. He's done that before.
I thought only Bird slept on the streams.
Nope.
No, DJ has. I think Pixels has.
Wow, so I'm like the only one that hasn't.
I was so drunk once that I almost passed out on the stream.
Well, let's see here. You wrote Drunk Dear Bops.
Yeah.
You were trying.
You did Drunk Dear Bops, huh?
Oh yes. You were trying to end a stream that you were not.
Yeah, I was like, "Where's the end stream button?" And DJ's like, "Wes, this is my stream."
you were on DJ's stream and you were trying to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
No, it was definitely a fun night because you were making suggestions on Dear Bop letters.
What kind of suggestions was he making?
I ranted.
Well, he was also saying how much he loved
being mean to me.
Dear Bop. And let's see here. I think in one you proclaimed your love for him.
No.
You proclaimed love for who?
Part of Prey 5.
Oh, well, of course, yeah.
Whatever, guys.
That's what you get for being a Kurogan.
I mean, look, it was a bit funny and embarrassing, but it wasn't that bad. It was. I wrote like, "Dear Bob, DJ is being mean to me. Ban him, ban him." And Bert was like, "Oh, okay, Wes."
So,
I didn't write DJ Odyssey. I wrote DJ Octopus or something like that.
yes.
So he's like, "Okay, Wes, DJ Octopus is banned."
I mean, if you were proclaiming your love for Bird, I understand. You know, he is your god emperor and all that crap.
You know, I had an idea for a song for Bird of Prey 5.
What's that?
You know, the walk like an Egyptian. How about walk like a Kurogan?
Well, we see. I think Bird might find that offensive, actually. Since
Isn't that the point?
So just have Average Jam write that song.
Yeah. Although, you know, the new Dear Bop song is so good.
Oh, I love that.
Wait, what's the new Dear Bop song?
The one the Piano Dean did.
When did this come out?
Wow, you just haven't been on any of my streams lately, have you?
Dude.
No, I haven't.
I played it for the last couple of streams. It's Piano Dean did a She Bop parody called Dear Bop.
Yep.
And it is brilliant. It is one here. I'll bring it up for you because I know you don't care about copyright. Let me see here.
Yeah, I've been a bit busy this last week.
Doing what?
Work.
You don't work. Don't lie.
Says the guy that works at home.
Well, you know, what can I say? All right, so this is gonna. Let me turn off the camera, and then I will share screen, but I will share audio. So now I'm waiting for you, Wes.
Wait, that one?
All right, so you ready?
I'm all ears.
All right. I assume you can hear it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they say you get advice on a YouTube stream, telling people how to fix their suffering. Well, I'm in a really sad situation, stuck working in corroding sanitation. Dictator Bird of Prey 5 makes me mop this floor. Even if I do it well, he just works me more. But he'll have me whipped if he hears me whine, or worse, make me work at his uranium mine. I need a nice dip up. Dear Bob, please help me life swap. I'm tired of playing big stop, and the pain here is non-stop. I hope you let me out. I tried to run away, but the mind still fights for me. Dear Bob, help me get loose to Bob. Oh, dear Mr. Bob.
Are the little birds moving?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your Bob turned out to be a bunch of lies. was Vertebrae 5 in disguise. You know he doesn't treat defenders well. He locked me up in a Kuroga jail cell. Now the anti-tracker knew Dear Bob was a fraud. He had Thomas Potts in the Turtle Steady Rescue Squad. When they broke me out, Vertebrae was annoyed. He chased us but crashed into an asteroid. Dear Bob, now he's a big flop. Just a flyer on a laptop. Thought he owned me, but he did not think he was in a escape the bird cop. Then bird became a grease spot. Dear Bob, I'm free from Dear Bob. Free from Dear Bob. AT gave me a new job, Turtle Steady Secretary of Art. I don't have to push in my power. Turtle Steady champagne bottles always pop, and we drink till the last drop. Thank God, Dear Bob. Oh, Dear Bob.
So there you go.
That was good. That was catchy.
Yeah. So that's one of Piano Dean's latest and greatest song.
I loved the reaction that Bert had when he played it.
He was like, "What?"
Oh,
That guy's reactions is worth everything.
Oh yeah, Bird, man, he has got the best sense of comedic timing. I don't know how he does it. I'm jealous of him in that respect.
I still think he's fooling all of us. He's just playing all of us.
No, I think he's just generally a psychopath. Just my opinion.
Well, I mean, he does live in New York, so
Yeah. I mean, not
votes for AOC. So
yeah. What's up with that? I mean, you know, you're his buddy. You're Kurogan.
just because I'm from California doesn't mean
You said you're Kurogan.
what? No, I didn't.
I could have sworn you said you were Kurogan. I know Captain Trek's a Kurogan.
I think I said I'm a free agent. Whoever bribes me the highest.
You're assuming that either me or Bert are going to bribe
I'm not
anyway.
a Kurogan.
Well, you see, why is it that everybody is a Kurogan when they're on my stream, but then they'll say, "Oh no, I'm not really Kurogan" when they're not on my stream? I see it.
As you said, we all like to pick on the biggest target.
Yeah, bunch of jerks.
Thank you.
Remember, folks, if anti-tracker calls you a jerk, what he really means is you're my friend.
No, this time I mean you're a jerk.
Thank you.
So you should all just be Turdistanis. Just admit that I am the good guy in the battle. That's all I ask. I mean, he puts orphans in freaking mines, and you guys are, "Oh yeah, I love him."
Well, but I mean, he feeds them rat soup, so
See? You're sitting there defending him. Makes no sense.
he'll be up soon, won't he? It's like
He's probably already up. I'm surprised he's not here.
it's like 3:40. Joseph, go wake up Bird of Prey.
So it's Joseph. Why isn't Joseph on the panel right now? I mean,
I don't know. Joseph, where are you? You've abandoned us.
Probably at work.
Well, Yosef's always working. He just, I know he likes his surprise lovemaking time for some reason, but
Wait, so is Bird's laptop like always on and always right in front of him?
I don't know why.
I'm just wondering. Like
Are you
if I spammed his Skype, would it just keep going beep 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 beep?
I have no idea.
Well, we know he doesn't shut his tabs, so go with Facebook.
That's true. We do know he doesn't close tabs.
Okay, that's a good idea.
What are you trying to do? You're going to spam his Facebook?
Wake him up.
For the record, Bird, I did not suggest that they wake you up.
I didn't actually suggest that he wake him up. I just suggested the best way to, potentially.
All right. It's too early.
Well, I don't know. 3 o'clock in the morning. That's fine.
When does he wake up? 4, 5? I don't know.
About 4. It depends on Sassy.
Yeah, he's an early riser. But that's also, he goes to bed at 5 o'clock.
Well, it depends. Sometimes he's up till 7.
Yeah, well, if he has a double shot of espresso, he might stay up until 7 or so. You think I'm kidding? Bird is like, I've never seen someone under the age of 70 go to bed as early as Bird of Prey 5 does.
Well, his whole schedule's probably all messed up.
What schedule? He spends his entire life in bed. He can do whatever the heck he wants. I mean, granted, I'm not trying to suggest that we should all be jealous of Bird, but, we should all be jealous of Bird.
Yeah, you're right. He could sleep in later and stay up later.
No, we should all be pitying Mama Prey.
Well, that's yeah. There you go.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone has ever
Well,
said.
he probably goes to bed earlier, so
Mama Prey should be
he probably
nominated.
goes to bed earlier, so his mom can go to bed.
Yeah, I think Mama Prey.
She should be a saint.
Yeah, I was going to say she should be nominated for sainthood. I would support that, and I'm not Catholic.
I'm not Catholic either. I'd support it.
Mount Elysium says, "What's wrong with giving orphans something to do? They get a hands-on experience in processing yellow cake uranium."
See, and that's yeah. It just seems like a no-brainer that everybody should be on the Turtistani side, but no, everybody wants to be with the bad guy.
It's just the word Kroga just rolls off the tongue. Turtistan it sounds like a messy place. I think you should have named your country a little bit better.
Well, I didn't even come up with Turtistan. Who did? I'm trying to remember.
It sounds like
It sounds like poop land.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
It's all about the philosophy behind the name. It's about the idea that we are, we shouldn't be elevating ourselves above others.
You're elevating Mrs. Anti-Trucker.
Well, she's the exception. I mean, there's always the exception.
You know, I like how nice and calm this chat has been. You rewatch Matt's stream, it's like you and LGG like yelling at each other.
Well, LD he gets a little crazy sometimes. And then other times he's really crazy. There's
like-
that's
it's
the
like-
only two modes for him. There's crazy, and then there's really crazy. I don't think that there's a halfway in between.
Well, apparently he's going to stop drinking after his birthday stream
No,
Is
will
that what
that
he
help?
said?
Will that help or make him worse?
Yeah. for health reasons.
Wait, for health reasons.
For health reasons, yes.
If for health reasons he shouldn't be drinking, then he should have already stopped. I mean, if my doctor
Yeah.
said, "Hey," I mean, actually,
But he's going to make an exception.
see, the only reason I drink vodka is because Mrs. Anti-Trekker put me on a low carb diet, and so vodka has no carbs. It's true, vodka has no carbs.
I know, but it just kind of sounds like you're cheating.
No, it would be cheating if I had anything other than vodka.
I'm sure there's something else other than vodka that doesn't have carbs.
Nothing that I like. I don't like
Okay.
beer, so I don't. It's funny because I actually, I'm sure you've seen it.
Ugh.
They actually have commercials now for low carb beer, and I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big. I don't particularly care for beer. Actually, I don't like most spirits like straight. I like mixing them, but vodka. The nice thing about vodka is it mixes with just about anything.
What is your
I mean-
preference?
What's that?
What is your preference to mix it with?
Generally, when I'm doing the Matthews streams, I mix it with Mountain Dew, and that works. And of
Wait.
course, I have Mountain Dew Zero
What do you mix with Mountain Dew? The vodka?
vodka.
Right.
But you can mix vodka with orange juice. You can mix vodka with literally anything, and it works because vodka does not have a particularly strong flavor. Like whiskey, there are only a few things you can really mix with whiskey.
Your,
Mountain Dew ain't one of them. I've tried.
I was just checking on that tracking number you gave me. It says it was delivered. So I need to go check my mailbox
Should have been.
tomorrow morning.
Bird got his. I was actually I forgot I was gonna ask you if you got your package yet, because Bird got his a couple days ago.
Well, you sent it USPS, so it should actually be in the mailbox, which is separate from my house. I have to go over there. They probably put it in one of the larger, lock boxes. Well,
Okay.
depending on how
Well,
big the
it's probably been sitting there for a couple of days then. I hope that doesn't get you in trouble.
I'll go check it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, do let me know if there. By the way, there's actually two ships in there. They're both the Wrangler class, but one of them is. I told you about it already. That one of the first prints that I did, there's a hole in the saucer section that you said, "Hey, that's battle damage," so I sent you that one too. But let me know if you got at least one complete one that works, because Bird's the Wrangler class one was damaged.
Well, I mean, I've got model stuff, so I can re-glue stuff and.
Well, I understand, but if there's a damage to it, then and you can't fix it, then I can always send you another one. Man, where have you been? You haven't been on Bird streams. You haven't. What have you been doing?
I have been completely stretched thin. It feels like quite literally. I've been working on a project around the house. I had an airsoft game I went to on Sunday, and then I was prepping for that before that. It's just. Yeah, I was a lunatic that went to an airsoft game in 100+ heat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't even get any pictures of myself or my group. It was just that. It was about a 2-hour drive to where the event was down in northern San Diego County. By the time I got there, it was almost late, so I had to rushed to get ready and get into the game, and by the time it was over, it was so hot, half my brain was dead. Yeah,
Well,
so
I am gonna get to bed here. It's getting late even for me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like almost 3:00. I'm sure Mrs. Anti-Trekker is probably properly annoyed at this point.
yeah, head off to bed. No one's holding
but-
you.
I know. I just just trying to say thank you for having me on. Jeez, you're trying to be nice and polite and all, but you want to be a dick about it. I mean, that's all right. Your stream is called. What should I call this stream? Maybe it's I'm a jerk. That should be the name of the stream. Just saying. I'm just kidding. No, seriously though.
I know
Wes,
you only call your best friends jerks.
Yeah, well, don't be such a stranger. I mean, haven't seen you on the streams lately. I understand you got a lot going on, but it's not like me and Bird combined don't stream for like 6 hours a day. I mean, I'm sure you could find some time in there you could stop by and say hi.
It seems like every single time I turn on my phone, it's DJ on.
Well, that's because DJ and LD both stream for like 16 hours a day. Those guys need to. I mean, LD especially. I mean, LD is streaming from. I'll get up in the morning and he's streaming, and then I'll be like finishing up my live stream in the middle of the night, and he's still streaming. And then I'll get up the next day and he's still streaming. I'm like, what are you doing? You are insane. And Captain Trek is always there. He's always Captain Trek is always either on my stream, Bird stream, or LD stream. He's always somewhere. Every time I go to any stream anywhere, Captain Trek is there.
And he's he's the one guy who says hi to me every single time.
That's because he's a nice guy. But if I go to Cinnabon stream, oh look, Captain Trek's there. Okay. If I anytime I go to any stream anywhere, Captain Trek is always there.
He's following you.
No, I feel like, am I following him? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. No, but I love you guys. But seriously, Wesley, of course, that you're always welcome, as are you, Captain Trek. But yeah, I do need to call it a day because it's been a long day.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to be doing a stream in like 4 hours. So hey.
Well, you stay on. You'll stay on with Wesley for another 3 hours and 45 minutes, and then start your own stream. Or are you streaming with somebody else? I assume.
Somebody else. It's Loki's Mornings of Mischief. It's my yeah.
See, I can never keep up with you, and this is something I think is cool. I can't even keep up with you guys anymore. No, seriously, and I do think it's cool. Is that the nerd community, as I like to call it? I love the fact that it's kind of branching out and just continuing to grow, and to the point where there's like, wait, this is a thing now. Like when Rambling Canuck started doing his Saturday night. Karaoke streams and stuff, and Cinnabon's always do. I'm glad that Cinnabon's not just doing his bunny streams now. He's actually doing stuff where he's interacting more, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
And of course, DJ just is like, he'll stream for 30 hours at a time for whatever reason. He's just a nut. And LD, I don't know. LD is just like, he's the crack cocaine of the nerd community, I think.
That's a good description.
that's the only way to describe LDG. He is the crack cocaine of the nerd community. So, you start out with a little anti-trekker here and there. Oh, you might dabble in some Wesley or Cinnabon, but then once you've gone and you've sat through an entire LD stream, it's over. You've hit rock bottom.
You've lost your mind, and there's
next thing you know, you're waking up in a gutter, and you're willing to do horrible things for $1.
Oh,
I couldn't bring myself to actually say it. All right, guys, you have a good one. Mountains of Elysium, good to see you. And Josh, if you're still around, and I don't know if Joseph is still around or if he's having surprise lovemaking time, but you guys are all awesome and take care.
You too.
Well, and my
Thank you.
viewers just dropped. It went from like 6 to 4.
I'm surprised. People should be watching you.
I'm pretty beat too. I want to be entertaining, but
Well, if you need sleep, go to sleep. Seriously.
I always need more sleep. I didn't wake up until it was like an hour and a half before work time. Oh, hey, Joseph is still there.
Yeah.
He probably popped back in. Got away from work.
Well, he's a troublemaker, but we like him.
Joseph, a troublemaker? No.
Ah, he had something to eat. What would you have to eat, Joseph?
Joseph, get up here.
Yeah, get up here.
I'm calling you out. Get up here. You can tell us how wonderful Slovakia is, or something.
Or tell us about your wonderful wife.
Or the toast you made for breakfast. I'm hungry now.
Aren't you always hungry?
I want breakfast. I am always hungry. Well, not always. I'm not hungry after I just ate. There's like a small gap of like 15, 20 minutes where I'm not hungry. There's a reason why I got the nickname Snack Pack. This is one of my airsoft stories.
Oh, Lord. Okay, go for it.
So, not as cool as real military stories like Darren Wagner, but, fake wars are cool too. First event my group went to, so I have a group of like 10 guys. We're like, oh, yeah, let's go to Milsom West. It'll be awesome. So we get all of our gear and all of our stuff, and the event comes, and it's about a 3-hour drive or so. And, we huck up all our rucksacks to where we check in, and then the event starts, and then they tell us to dig foxholes on this hill. The play area was like it was a farm property, but it wasn't flat and smooth. It was really kind of hilly, with a few trees, and there was a small little creek, running through part of it. And so we were on NATO side, and so we had the best defendable spot on the map. But because of that creek, the 98% of the map was open for the Russians to move wherever they wanted. What is Joseph saying?
Oh, he's on holiday.
Oh, you're on holiday, vacation?
Yeah.
StreamYards doesn't open? Oh. Okay, you're excused, Joseph. Anyway, so it's night has come in, it's getting dark, and they platoon leader comes up to our squad, so we're all new guys. None of us have night vision, and he goes, "You're gonna go on patrol with me." He has night vision, but he's got a blank fire gun. So we're all like, "Oh, we're screwed." So we cross the little creek on the rocks, sneak across, into the enemy's territory. We're sneaking around, trying to be all quiet with no lights and trying to see where the fuck we're going. And about after half an hour, the whole squad just gets taken out. It was the elite Russian group. They all have nods and all look best gear, and they've been doing this for a while. And so in this game, you're allowed to check the enemy's person if they allow you. You just gotta get quick permission
Right.
to look for like notes or something like that, or if you have loose BBs, so like loose ammo on you, not in your mags but just on your person.
Right.
And so they're searching all of us, and one guy gets set to search for me, and I'm a saw gunner. So he's like, oh, for sure this guy's got extra ammo. So he goes through one pouch and he finds a Cliff Bar. He goes through another pouch and he finds, I don't know, something else. And then he goes through another pouch and finds another Cliff Bar, and another pouch finds a different snack. And he's just starting to get more and more frustrated. So then his friend or squad leader or whatever comes up to him and goes, hey, did you find any ammo or information on this guy? He goes, no, all he has is snacks. And everyone in my squad just starts laughing and dying. And so from then on, I always get called Snack Pack. The reason why is, so yeah, I had these extra pouches on me to him. The reason why I had so many Cliff Bars is, yeah, I had all these pouches on me in case I need to hold M4 mags, but I didn't need them because I was a saw gunner. So I had no idea how long we were going to be out there. It could have been from half an hour, 4 hours, what have you. We could have been just sitting in one spot doing nothing. So I was like, yeah, bring some snacks. Doesn't hurt. So I filled like every single pouch I had with snacks.
Oh God.
It was I mean, it was even funnier in the moment.
Oh God.
If you're giggling now, you should have seen everyone on my team. And especially like how mad the guy was.
That's something I would love to have seen. Honestly.
I mean, other guys have like wrote little notes like, dear Russian, if you're reading this note, I had family and kids. Fuck you, you killed me. Shit like that. Or sometimes we would write like fake comm frequencies. So if we're using 1 2 3, they would write 3 4 5, fake numbers. So they would find them and try to use that radio frequency, and we weren't even using it. Joseph says, never played paintball with military guys. It really quickly became paintball. At the end of the day, I was like a bridge flag at the surface and bruised like a inmate on the beach. Paintballs are pretty bad. Because they're so wide, they leave a wide bruise.
Oh yeah.
But they don't go as fast as airsoft BBs. Airsoft BBs are a lot smaller, but they go like 3 times as fast. Yeah, I usually get a bruise or two that's how do you describe like the size? Like it looks like a nickel, ish size bruise. They go away in a day or two.
I'm sorry, Yosef. I've never seen a bruise that looks like a pride flag. Sounds interesting.
I'm thinking he's like all the purple and green and yellow and. I forgot what the theory was, but there was someone that said like the reason why Hulk is green is because every single square inch of his body is bruised. Because all the muscles expanding so quickly.
Right.
It's just one giant bruised monster.
That would be.
I wonder how painful it'd be for Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. Did you have growing pains when you were going through maturity?
Oh God, yes.
Imagine that in your entire body. Because if your bones and your muscles are growing faster than your skin, now he's saying, the clothes looked like pride flag, so it was all the color of the paintballs. and skin was black and blue all over for a week.
Ouch.
That's why I don't like paintball, and I never got into it. Is yeah, the paintballs are so much larger. I forgot their size. Like, are they 10 millimeter or 12? No, they're actually bigger. 12 or 14 millimeter is the size of a paintball.
Ouch.
And when they hit, even though they're designed to break, sometimes they don't. And so, yeah, they do bruise, but paintballs don't go as fast as airsoft BBs. Airsoft BBs are 6 millimeter, go like 350 to 450 feet per second, and they're not meant to break. So just because they're small doesn't mean they don't hurt. Yeah. Yosef says, growing pains. I'm 6'6". Tell me about it. Wait, Yosef, you're 6.6 meters tall?
Oh, good God. Don't
Damn.
think he's that big of a giant.
No, he just knows where we're from, so he's being polite and using feet.
Yes.
Yeah, Yosef, I'm almost as tall as you. I'm about 6'4". And I come from a tall family. My brother's 6'6". My dad's 6'8". But don't worry, we're chopping him down one leg at a time. I used to say one toe at a time, but my dad's an amputee. Right foot.
Ouch.
But he's got good prosthetics.
How come?
Huh?
What happened?
Okay. I'll try and make a long story short. Some symptoms of diabetes, not all of them. The one symptom he got is he would get open sores on the bottom of his feet, and
Ooh.
they would take a long time to heal.
Yeah.
And so then he got bone infection in the toes. And so on both feet, they had to amputate toes, but on the right foot, the left foot got better, and he was good to go. The right foot though just deteriorated, and the bones just weren't really holding up. So he actually had it, removed before he was forced to.
Right.
He made the choice, and he actually has really good prosthetics, and he's been on his feet. Goes out every day.
Wow.
It's not perfect, but it's also hasn't stopped him.
Yeah.
All right, now what is Joseph saying? Especially if you tweak the airsoft guns to be safer, they are
Faster.
they're painful. There are different levels of airsoft guns. There's ones that are intended for indoor use. There's ones intended for outdoor use. So, like an indoor pistol shooting at lower feet per second. So their velocity, their joule, energy is less. They don't hurt as much. Half the time, I don't even feel them. That's one of the problems with airsoft is you either don't feel them, you feel like a little tink, like if someone just flicked their finger at you, or it's the complete opposite. It's like, oh my god, you're killing me. It's I don't know what it is, but it's usually it's like one or the other. You barely even feel it. It feels like a fly landed on you, or it stings so bad.
Oh man.
Like it kind of just depends on where they hit you.
Right.
If I get hit in the belly fat, it stings like bad. If I get hit in the arm, I have like no fat on my arms. It doesn't hurt. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it hits you in muscle. or like the bone, it doesn't. I don't even really feel it. But if I get hit in the fat,
Oh man.
I've been shot in the not the neck, but like they call it collarbone area,
Right.
and that sometimes hurts.
That's like
A guy on my own team, Saw Gunner, started spraying me and hit me in the neck like 3 times on Sunday. And I was just like, who the fuck was that? Oh, it's Ben, my own damn fucking Saw Gunner. Well, good job.
Ah,
Relatively soon, I feel like a hobbit. You're 5'9". That's
yeah.
not that short.
Good
If you
grief.
said 4'9", then we'd call you a hobbit. I wish I had some good pictures or videos or something to show you guys, but me. All right, Yosef, where did you go on holiday? To the beach? Where is the nearest beach?
I think he said he went to a nude beach.
A nude beach.
Yep.
It's like, did he go to France or Paris? Oh no, yeah, France.
It's in Croatia, so I.
Well, I know he's on the southern, like west border of Slovakia, but
Right.
so he could go to Hungary or Austria pretty easy. But I mean, like the nearest ocean to him is quite literally like 2 countries away. I mean, he might have to drive to like not Venice, but like that part of Italy to go to the ocean.
Oh yes, Yosef says, of course, beach, Croatia, seaside view.
All right, Croatia. Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't too far off. Croatia's not that far from Italy. See, like, I'm just thinking of how like lucky I am, how close I am to the beach, to the ocean. Literally, it's
How,
like an hour and a half drive. Okay, like with traffic, maybe a little bit longer, but not much.
still sounds nice.
And I don't have to drive through 2 different countries to get to it. But like Europe's just kind of like that. Driving through one country to the other is just like not even a big deal. United States is so large, we have it divided up into different states, which are almost like their own countries.
Yeah.
Oh, Yosef says Italy, it may be 11 hours. What? Oh, so I think he's talking about drive time. Might be 11 hours, but it's too dangerous there. Yeah, they're still hit. Italy was hit majorly hard. It's been a while since I've looked at statistics, but their population amount that died, it was just absurd. All right, and
That's
my
probably
Googling.
why That's probably why he picked Croatia. Was
Maybe the outbreak was less there,
yeah.
a lot less.
Mountains of Elysium. I'm a 5-minute walk from the sea, but it's an industrial harbor, so I won't be
Yay.
swimming there. Yeah, can't blame you.
Mountains. How far of a drive would it be to a swimmable ocean? Do you have to go up or down the coastline always? Yeah. How big is Slovakia compared to, let's say, like Texas? No, I think it's way smaller than Texas. I think it's like,
I have a curious question. Why are you comparing to Texas?
Texas is one of the larger states in U.S.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Alaska's larger, but in the lower 48. I don't know.
Correct. Yes. I just figured you'd be comparing it to California since you're from.
Yeah. If you measure from south to north, California is quite large.
Yes.
Just from the coast to the east border, it's not terribly huge. Joseph is saying 350 miles across. What, Slovakia? Or is he talking about something else? Joseph keeps putting little statistics in. I don't know what he's referring to. 350 miles across, 5.5 million people. Context. What are you talking about?
Slovakia or Croatia?
Yeah. And then who has 5? Okay. Slovakia is small. So I'm assuming Slovakia is 350 miles across. Yeah. I think my only point was if you compared the size of Europe and the United States, I think they're not too far off from their size value.
Right.
France, Germany, Poland are pretty large countries. So is the UK. But then you start to get into the other countries, Switzerland, Austria, Slovakia, Hungary. They're much smaller countries.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if you got a good balanced government, reasonable amount of freedoms, I think it's the only real reason why U.S. We brag about living in the U.S. is the freedoms that we have. Air quotes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Even if they're slipping away kind of here and there.
Slipping, yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are like, "Oh, okay, here."
Have you seen V for Vendetta?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, someone was making the comparison of real life. The country. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think I haven't seen it since it came out. But was it the UK or was it? I think. What country did it take place in?
Well, most of it took place in the U.S.
Oh,
I
what?
know they
It
had,
was
yeah.
U.S. Okay.
Oh, I haven't seen that in years.
But basically, the plot of that movie is the government takes complete control in the name of safety. What is Joseph saying? Yes, delay on stream must be confusing. I can be in 4 hours in plague from where I live. In Veneta, under 60 minutes. Budapest, in about also 4 hours. Yeah, you can be all over Europe pretty quickly. See, 4-hour drive for me. Okay, so 2.5 hours to San Diego,
Mhm.
3.5 hours to San Francisco. Vegas, it's not that far either. About a whole like 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer, to get all the way to like Dallas, maybe the opposite side of Texas. I think it takes about what 48 hours plus to get across the United States.
Wow.
Like if you had to drive all straight, not stopping, about 48 hours across the U.S.
Oh, there's no way I could do that.
And that's a speed run. That's just getting the car and going. Realistically, we're talking more like 3 days.
See, I've gone from uh, Kansas City, Missouri to what was it? Where the hell was I? Not Louisville, but it was another town in Kentucky, and yeah, I stopped for gas, and that was it. That was a long ass drive.
But my only point was to say to Yosef is the U.S. is almost like a bunch of small countries glued together. Like the only thing we really have in common is we all speak the same language and use the same dollar. But other than that, from state to state, there's huge differences.
Oh yes. Oh.
One part culture, one part like the uh, environment, the weather. Laws can be different. The UK London was about Vendetta. Oh, okay. V for Vendetta was about the UK. Was about London.
Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
thought it was. I thought it was taking
I'm
place.
tired. Oh my god.
I'm tired too. That's why I wanted Yosef on here. He's awake. Ireland is pretty small. I think it's a little bit bigger than the size of West Virginia. If you include North Ireland, it's about the size of South Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So how long are you on holiday, Joseph? You've been very selfish not being on streams.
I know. I keep waiting for Yosef to post another stream, but nothing's come out. I keep subbing to his channel and just like no content. I'm just going to point this out. Nothing else to talk about. The way Yosef phrased his sentence is almost like Yoda. The UK London was about Vendetta instead of V for Vendetta was about London.
Yes.
He phrased that like backwards.
Oh, yes.
But it just could be
Well,
a translation kind of issue.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Last day returning tomorrow.
Ah. Well, I hope you
And-
had fun.
You're wasting your last day talking with us or listening to us.
That's pretty bad, Joseph. Go have some fun.
What is it, like 10 o'clock in the morning? Ish. You should be out. You should be out. You should be in the beach. Get some UV rays on you to kill that virus. Wisdom talks through me. Yosef has the wisdom of God. I wish I could go to Venice. Or like Rome or Naples or I don't know. I just want to see Italy.
No, you just want to see Italian chicks.
I already got one, so.
I didn't say. I didn't say you wanted one. I just, didn't hurt to look. Take her with you. Go. Yeah.
What is Joseph saying? It is because I am trying to write a bullet point. Bullet point.
Ah.
Wait, are you writing something for?
Let's see, it's cold today. Oh. Yes.
Yeah, I told Joseph if he ever comes to California, I'll be his tour guide.
Cool.
He just has to pay my way to go with him wherever he goes. So if he wants to go to Disneyland, he's got to buy me a ticket. If he wants to go to the beach, he's got to pay for parking. I'll take him around Hollywood, and we'll avoid the bad areas. Okay, Yosef, don't worry. I won't put you in danger.
I don't know if I trust you with that.
No Skid Row. Is that 10.24 at the pool? Sea is cold today. So that's the temperature.
10.24 C. I don't know.
Hold on, let me get my Google Translator. My internet's being slow.
Yeah, that's been common. But at this time of night, I'm a little surprised. Okay, I'm going to be right back.
Uh-oh. Now I have no one to talk to. 10.27 is fine. You know what, Joseph? I think that's the one thing that the U has better over than the metric system is our temperatures don't have points. It just goes like 75 degrees, 76 degrees. Like measuring distance is much easier with meters. Because you get under a foot, and then we have all these fractions. We have these inches, then we have these fractions of inches. That's just madness. Millimeters is much better, but measuring temperature with fractions. Wesley, put on glasses. What did I say? You said 10.27. Oh, what did I say? The wrong number. If I said the wrong thing, it's because it's late and I should have gone to sleep 2 hours ago. And my internet is being slow. And I'm probably going to call it a stream as soon as Captain Trek gets back. Just so he's not like, where'd Wes go? He didn't like me. He just ended the stream. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. I did not say OT is fine, that it is time. Wait. Oh, it's time. 10:23 is the time, not the temperature. Gosh. I get it now. Okay, well, that's why I said you're 9 hours ahead of me. But I wasn't sure if Croatia was in the same time zone as Slovakia. Because here, if you jump from one state to another, it could change the time zone you're in. So I was assuming maybe countries did different time zones too. But still, you're still always roughly around 9 hours ahead of me. I mean, unless you went really, really far.
Oh.
All right, so you missed me misunderstanding what Joseph was trying to tell me about what time it is. Because when he said 10.24 at the pool, sea is cold today, he meant like it's 10:27.
Oh, okay.
That's what time it is. Temperatures can have fractions, but for practical purpose, nobody is using it. Okay. I guess it just depends on how precise you want to be. There are a few different time zones in Europe. Ireland is in 1 hour behind Joseph's time. Wait, Ireland is 1 hour behind Joseph's time? That's it? That's it? There seems like there's a good amount of distance between Slovakia and like Ireland. I don't know how many miles or kilometers it is from one to the other, but
No.
Arizona is 1 hour ahead of California, and that's not even that far away. There's 4 time zones in the U.S. Bert's
Oh, yeah.
Bert's 3 hours ahead of me.
Well,
What-
you should be getting up soon.
Yeah, it's like 4:30. I messaged him on Skype and Facebook, and no response. And I didn't want to like message him repeatedly, so 8 people and
Uh, 8 people watching. Wow.
in Europe it is
3 times.
3 zones, I think. Okay, that makes more sense. If Europe had 3 different time zones.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. It's getting late, Captain
Oh,
Trek.
yeah. Once you head on to bed, I can
Yeah.
catch a nap, so I'll be ready for my stream. Yay.
All right, everyone, I'm going to call it Mountains of Elysium. Thanks for stopping by, Yosef. Have a good holiday. Spend some time with the family.
Oh, yes.
Get that sunshine.
Yes. Give your wife a lot of kisses.
All right.
And thank you again, Wes. It was good to talk.
Yeah, no problem. Let me know when you and Cinnamon plan to do The Expanse, and I'll try to join you
Okay.
so we can see how great of a show it is.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I love to hear about, but we'll talk about that later. So you take care, and thank you everyone for coming. If you like the what's been going on, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
I'm pretty sure Mountains of Elysium and Yosef have subscribed.
Oh, I'm sure, but I mean, there's 8 people. There were 8 people watching, so there are only 2 people talking. So, well, I will talk to you later.
All right. Good night, everyone.